everyone, it's Chrissy Graham here, the creative Eclectic, Stamping Up independent demonstrator in Australia. Hope you are having a fabulous week and are excited to get to craft along with me today. Now, normally on the first Saturday of the month we would do a mystery stamping, but because I am on the other side of the world at the moment, well, as you watch this, not as I'm filming this, but as you watch this, I thought that I would just do a normal craft along and pre-record it so that you didn't miss out on our Saturday session. And if you have questions and you want to know more, just drop a comment, and as soon as I get access to the internet, I will answer your questions. All right, I think I'm actually, as I film this, as you watch this, I'll be getting on a cruise in Florida. So a long way from home and a totally different time zone. So let's talk about what you need for this project. So today I am using a piece of Designer Series paper. This is a Botanical Textures 12 by 12 DSP. It's an online exclusive, and I've cut it to 5.5 inches high, and I've left it at 12 inches wide. Now, if you're in the US, I understand your cards might be a little bit shorter, so you might need to cut another 1/4 of an inch off the top. But all the other measurements should be around about the same. All right, so the first thing we're going to do with our piece of Designer Series paper is we're going to take our paper trimmer. I probably should tell you what else you need, but we'll do it as we go. So you'll have a list in the comments, in the description section anyway. So we have got our piece of 12 by 12, 5.5 by 12. We're going to put our long arm out. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take our paper and we are going to do the first score at 3 3/4. So we're making, I'm even going to tell you today what sort of card we're making. We're making a pocket card, a trifold. Well, it doesn't end up being trifold, but you use 3 folds to make this card. And yes, so we've scored it at 3 3/4, and we're going to move it along, and this is why we have our little arm out. We're going to score it at 7.5. Now, inches. If you are working in centimeters, your first score line would be 9.5 centimeters. This one would be 19 centimeters. Okay. Then we're going to move that along again, and we're going to score it at 11.25 inches or 28.5 centimeters. Okay. All right. We're just going to move our paper trimmer out the way. And we've got our pieces, and we're just going to fold them along the score lines and burnish them. So you need to choose which piece of pattern. Now this can work with, didn't burnish that very well. It can work with directional patterns, but it would be normally your directional pattern would be going up way, but you can make the card this way if you really want to. Okay, so now you'll need to fold this piece over And you want to get some tear and tape or some good strong adhesive, right? But before we fold that over, I'm going to, in this middle section here, we're going to, actually this has got 4 folds. We're just going to break off our tear and tape, and just, so this is in the middle, very middle section. You don't want it to go in the first section, and it's okay if it does overlap into the second section, into the third section. But this second section here is the bit that you need. So we're just going to lift off our tear and tape there. Now before we do anything else, we're going to grab some tear and tape, and we're just going to put 2 strips along here. Now, as I said, you need a good strong adhesive, so if you still have some of that red sticky strip in your stash, or if you've got some Seal Plus or even some Seal, that will work really well. So we're just going to put 2 strips along here. Whoops, and I've just run out. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to break it in half and have a bit of the sticky strip up that top end there. Of course it always runs out when you're trying to film. Okay, so now what you're going to do is just going to partially move those sticky strips. You're going to fold them outwards. Okay, the reason we fold them outwards like that is so when we fold this piece over, so this is on the wrong side, right? Or the outside of, we'll pull those strips off. I shall pull this strip off too. Now, when you burnish your tear and tape with your bone folder before you take off the paper, it just makes it much easier to get the paper off. So you've made a little pocket. Now, I messed up there. What I meant to say is before you fold it, what you do want to do is you want to take your punch, whatever punch you're going to use, or your die cut, and you want to just punch out. I'm just going to gently ease that up. Just punch out a little bit of your this front section, right? We're going to do it, trying to think of the best way to do it. It's much easier if you do it before you stick it down. Okay, I'm just going to punch out that bit there, move it along a bit. Trying to keep it straight, and I'm only punching out a little bit, and this is like a finger hold. So when you can, now we're going to stick that back down. Oh goodness, I should read my own instructions, shouldn't I? Anyway, you're going to punch that bit out, so that's like a finger hold there. So you've got a piece that goes inside the pocket of the card. Try and get it centered. Okay, so we're just going to pop that aside for a moment, and we have got a piece of coloured cardstock. Now this coloured cardstock is about 1/2 inch less than the height of your card. So that allows for this sticky bit down the bottom. And this piece, then you have a piece of white. Now your piece of white, well mine's a bit grotty. It's got rubbing alcohol on it. It needs to be longer than your piece of coloured cardstock. So this cardstock is 3.5 inches by 5 inches, and this is 2 3/4 by 5 1/4. Okay, so what we're going to do now is grab our liquid glue or our tear and tape, whatever you're using. We're just going to stick with tear and tape for today. I've got another roll here. My tear and tape is so old. I bought a whole heap years ago. Now we're just going to pop this on, and now I'm popping it onto the black rather than the white, just because it's a little bit easier to see. I haven't even got my scissors out today. So, as you saw in the clues that I posted earlier, this card is about using your ephemera, or if you don't have any of the ephemera, you can use the die images that go with your paper that you've already cut. You can use stamped and colouring images, any of those things. Okay, so we've just got our tear and tape on, and it's around about 1/4 inch in from the edge. Some parts is a bit more. We're just going to burnish that to take off the paper much more easily. You don't even need to take your picture to do that. You can do it with dodgy acrylic nails. Okay. Now, just going to pop that on here, and I'm not worried that I have a couple of marks on my basic white because they will be covered up with an image. All right, so your card foundations are pretty much done. This just sits into the slot. And it is a teeny bit higher. You can trim that down even more if you wanted to. It's really up to you. I like it so that you can see it. Right, so now it's time to decorate. So we're going to get some of our ephemera. And I am using the black and white images from the Fully Flowering Ephemera pack, which is in the current catalogue that's just about to retire. All right, so I've just coloured them with my stamping blends, and over on the blog I will have all of the oops, that's not part of that, all of the ways that I've coloured it. All right. Okay, I've already stuck my dimensionals on the back of those ones. I'm also using the Greetings for All Mix and Match, so you can colour the black, you can colour all of them with stamping blends. I've just coloured the Sending Hugs. I'm doing a Mother's Day card for my mum. She'll get it obviously before this video goes live. Now the next piece of ephemera I'm using is from the Birthday Treats. I'm just using the bow, and I'm also using from the Mix and Match, no, that's the Something for Everyone. This is from the Birthday Treats ephemera. And so my card has no stamping on it, and it's pretty simple. the only extra thing that I have that is an ephemera is that I had a piece of bubble bath cardstock, which has been dry embossed with the embossing, like the mini corrugated embossing folder. So that's just a little extra. All right, so let's get started on colouring, putting together, decorating my card. Now, when I looked at this, I thought this looked like the trellis in our garden, and our trellis has got a window box at the bottom of it. So that's really the effect that I was going for. So again, I'm going to use I'm going to use a bit of glue this time. And I'll bring in my silicone craft mat. I'm just doing a little bit of the glue, using the thin end of my glue, because you know that there's a thin and a thick end, and I'm just putting it all the way around so that, and I'm using glue for this one because I need a little bit of wriggle room so that I can make sure that it is lined up straight. Lots of people don't like using the ephemera. I think that it's a really good option, and if you want quick cards, like I do prefer stamping, so I'm just going to stick my piece of corrugated bubble bath. Now I've made it into a little window box, so on 3 of the sides I've scored it at 1/4 of an inch and 1/2 inch, and I've put some, to help it stick together, I've put some foam adhesive strips like this, and we can just, and I've also put some tear and tape on the back to help it stick. Now I don't know the exact size of it. I think it was 4 inches wide maybe, or 4 1/4 inches wide, and I'm just going to stick that just down the bottom here so it's flush with the bottom edge of my thing. So you can decorate your card however you like. So once you've got the base card, it's really easy and it's really quick with ephemera to be able to decorate something once you've done all your colouring in and all of that sort of thing. So like I've coloured these blue flowers, I don't even know what they are, just in blue, balmy blue and lemon lime twist. And I've got these ones here. Just going to put them in the centre. Now these are all on dimensionals. I think this one needs to be a bit taller. So what I can do is I can I just want the top to sit out a bit more, so I'm just going to take my adhesive strips. I'm just going to add a bit of height to the top of it. And I'll just put a bit there, and this also gives me a bit more, so I'm just putting the adhesive strips over top of the dimensional just gives it a bit more depth to the card. Okay. Now these ones, now you'll see these have all got a grey border. Now I just added the border with, like, just coloured in the background with smoky slate. And the reason I did that was because the white on the paper that I used, and because even though that's not my favourite paper, and I've saved my favourite bit for the inside, it really, the white was too stark on it. So what I want to do now is just pop my Happy Mother's Day on. I need to, actually no, I'm not going to put a card on that on the front. I've got my little bow, I've got some adhesive strips on there. Now the reason I'm using a combination of adhesive strips and what do you call that stuff, and dimensionals, is because I want to be able to, and I'm going to move this one down, I want to be able to have different heights. Oh no, I'm going to put my bow down there. I'm going to change my mind. Have different heights, and these sticky strips are deeper or higher than a standard dimensional. They're not quite an 1/8 of an inch, I don't think. All right, so that's the front of our card. Now we've got to do some decorating on the inside. Now, part of the reason I also do use my smoky slate, as you can see here, there's been a bit of bleeding with my colour. Oh, that's the wrong end. So the smoky slate, when you put that on there, it sort of covers it, won't take away it completely. And I didn't want to use a colour lifter because usually you get bleeding because you've got too much ink. So the lighter smoky slate just makes it sort of blend a bit. We're just pushing that away from the, okay, so, and you need to do this really when the images are quite dry. Okay, so you could leave your, and you can do this with around any die cut or anything like that. Now, I will need to adjust this a little bit. Oh no, I'll do it that way. Just going to pop that up here. Put that in the center. I'll just turn it to however you think that it's going to go. And there's no, like, really with flowers, there's probably no right and wrong way to do it. And I do want a bit of wriggle room with this one, and because the green glue, the Tombow glue, is has got a bit of wriggle room. Okay, so this sentiment here is for, we're just going to put that down the bottom, okay, and we are going to just make sure that it's flat on the inside, because if you, and we've also got to make sure that our image doesn't overlap the edges. Okay, and we're just going to put sending hugs. All right. because my mum and I have this thing about hugs. And then we're going to, on our little insert of the card, we're going to put our next piece. Now I haven't coloured around the edge of this one because, and I think I need to because it's got some colour has been taken off that. So I like to put something behind my image when I'm colouring it, and I'm just going to really quickly, so you could be just assembling the card, your card, the way that you like it. There's no right or wrong answer, and like I probably should have had step by step. This is what you do first, this is what you do second, and but I thought it was more important to have the video so you can see how to make this card, and decorating it is really, you just use what you have. Now we're just going to just get in all those white bits. When you use the narrow end, try and use a brush end actually. My brush end on that particular marker isn't good, so, and see, I don't know if you can see, I've slightly gone out of the lines here. So by going over it with the smoky slate, because smoky slate is a lighter colour, it just sort of lightens those. And just make sure that you're going either outwards from the edge or around. I don't even know what you would call these flowers, but I do know that I coloured them in Petunia Pop of all colours. It doesn't look like Petunia Pop to me. That's just the way that the Petunia Pop reacted with the paper. So I'm okay with that. So the Petunia Pop and now pumpkin pie and old olive. I just ran the old olive along the leaves, but you can't really see it, and I'm not worried if it it doesn't take long. This probably takes longer because there's lots of white space in it. And it'll dry much, as long as you don't keep going over it to darken it, it will dry lighter than what it looks now. So you come back in a couple of hours and it'll be lighter again. Okay, I just want to make sure that I've got all the white spots. Okay, all right. Ooh. Okay, so we've done that bit. So now remember, you can, when you're using ephemera, you can cut it, right? I don't want it right in the middle. I want it over a little bit, and I want to make it so that it, I've just got enough room here for my Happy Mother's Day. And yeah, of course you could colour that however you want it. I'm just going to cut that using my scissors. I'm not going to waste the ephemera that I cut off though. I'm just going to cut that along there. Normally probably would glue it first, and then I'm going to cut a little bit off the bottom. and stick this on with my liquid glue. So you want the things on the inside and the things on your pull-out tag to be flat. Now, you'll see I've got lots of lumpy glue here. So I'm going to grab my other end of my multi-purpose glue, and I've got it on my silicone craft mat, and I'm just going to get rid of all of those lumps. I'm not getting rid of any glue, the glue is still on there, but what it does is it makes it so that it's not lumpy and bumpy when you put it on your card. I'll just set that down here. And I'm going to position my sentiment so that it covers up any wayward things. Now I could have coloured it. I don't think it needs it. Could have gone around it with grey as well to be consistent, but I don't think it needs that either. So it's a personal choice of what you do. So I've got my little, now you can, I've got this little piece left from before. I'm just going to use the flat end of my liquid glue. Am I too high up? Sorry. I'll move down a bit. Flat end of my liquid glue. I'm hoping that, because I can't see this the way that I would normally see it when I do a Facebook Live or something, I'm hoping I'm within the frame of the camera. All right, move that out of the way. Get rid of those things off my fingers. Goodness me. I seem to have all the stuff stuck to me. I'm just going to put that up the top in the center, wriggle it along so it's in the center. Whoops. About, we've got lots of glue on there. Just sort of push it so it's nice and straight, so that then when we pop this in our pocket, now this is definitely a quick card. We pop that in our pocket, you can see when you close it up, oh, it's got something interesting on the inside. So it sort of creates a bit of curiosity. All right, I'm just going to leave that out to dry for a second. Now we also need to put some embellishments on it. I am using the iridescent faceted gems because they were the first ones that I grabbed. All right, I've got take my pick tool here. So these come in two sizes. They're going to be, I think they're going to be online exclusives in the new catalogue. I haven't quite worked out what's going where yet. So I've got a little spot on here. I'm going to cover that up. That was annoying me. I'm going to put a bigger gem in the middle of my bow. Now I've got glue all over my hands, so don't be surprised if the embellishments stick to me instead of the instead of the project. So I'm putting 3 on the box, on the planter box, and then I'm going to put, I've got 1 in the center there. I'm going to put about 7 different So I've got another, what we need to do is take off that, for some reason, that take my pictorial putty is going where it stuck to the back rather than the front. All right, so we've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we need a few more to make it sort of, well, we actually need one more to make it an odd number. And it can be absolutely random. So let's pop that. I'm going to pop it. I don't know where I'm going to pop it. Let's pop it over here on that leaf. So actually we'll do it on this leaf here. So absolutely random. Right, so there we go. So that is a really quick way to use up lots of pattern paper. So if you've watched any of my videos recently, you'll see my focus this last month has been using up our pattern paper. So I wanted to show you a couple of other ways that I've made this card, or a couple of other examples. So we can pop that in here now. And where I've used different papers and done it slightly differently. I tried to do a wider one, right? So this is taller and wider. That wasn't quite so successful because you ended up having, like, if you did it 4 inches, 4 inches, you ended up having to fold more. But this was, this is a new stamp set that's coming next week, and I can't tell you what it's called. I'll share it though. And I did a little tag. I didn't decorate the inside at all. I just made a little tag. So I really kept it really simple. And I'll use just some retired paper from Celebration. This one, the recipient will have this by the time this video goes live. So this was I made for a dear friend's 70th. So I used the Country Woods paper and the Everyday Arches dies. And then there's another coordinating stamp set that I use with that. And it's got, so I use the arches as the what do you call those things? As the tag. Goodness me. And then also, like, I had die cut. No, I'd fussy cut the cake. Not sure why I had green. It's supposed to be Summer Splash, but it went really dark. So anyway, so that is my third example. So same fold, basic fold. This one is taller as well, but with the reason I reduced it in size for today's craft along is it fits better in a standard envelope. That one doesn't fit in a standard envelope, so I have to put in a little cello bag, and this one, it doesn't fit in a standard envelope either, so putting that one in a cello bag too. So that is our craft along for today. So I hope you enjoyed that, showing how to make that really simple pocket card that uses up, so you get 2 cards out of one sheet of 12 by 12 sheet of designer series paper or pattern paper. So it's a really great way. So if you're making cards for Christmas, you can turn that into a little put a little pocket on your tag, so put it on the back if you like, and they can open it, or for a birthday, and you can put a gift card in there, or you could put a little piece of DSP here and make a little gift card thing there. People like interactive cards more than, and so this one's an easy one to make. Doesn't take a lot of time, and you can now go and get on with your day after you've made this card. And I'd love to see what you create. If you're watching on Facebook, make sure you comment, and if you're watching on YouTube, please comment and let me know what you think. And if you create one of these cards, be sure to tag me in it, or share it in the Facebook comments, or because I would just love to see what you have been making. Until next time, happy creating, and bye for now.